Tony Parker injured, Texas basketball upset again, and a little bit of baseball and football for you tonight in the Greene Room. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in to the Greene Room. I am Garrett Greene here to bring you all the latest news and scores coming from all the different professional and collegiate sporting activities that are happening in the world of sports right now. If you don't want to wait around for Sports Center to get your information, check it right here. We've got it all compacted down into about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit less, and we start tonight in NCAA basketball when the Horns fell to number 8 in the polls, looking to claw their way back up. Had a chance to do it tonight against the Kansas State team that defeated Kansas but could not do it. They fall to Kansas State 70-75 at home. That makes 3 of the last 4 games that the Texas Longhorns have now dropped after flirting with the number 1 seed in the country and looking to be a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. So we don't know what's going on in Austin. We're really scared it's the same thing that happened again last year. Hopefully Coach Barnes can pull his team together and we can get this thing back on track. And another little bit of information, Ohio State pulls back to number 1 in the polls this week that were released earlier today. So they are back on top after Duke got upset by Virginia Tech over the weekend. On to a little bit of baseball news to mix it up in the Greene Room. Josh Beckett, a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, was struck on the left side of his head during batting practice today for the Red Sox. He was sent home with concussion-like symptoms. Apparently, Beckett was standing out in left field, and one of the guys who was hitting balls from the outfield back into the infield behind second base during batting practice got let one get away, and it hit Beckett in the side of the head. They said he expressed concussion-like symptoms, as I said, was sent home. But this is very dangerous for Josh Beckett, who sat out most of the season, was only 6-6 with the Red Sox last year, and it could be a kind of Justin Morneau thing for the Red Sox, a team that was injured a lot last year, and you don't want to see a guy miss the season because of a concussion, especially in baseball. So we'll continue to monitor that situation. On to the NBA and a little bit of news before we start. Mike Bibby, who was acquired at the trade deadline by the Washington Wizards, had his contract bought out today by the Wizards. That means he surrenders all money that he would make next year, around $6 million or so. But he wants to go to a championship contender, and there are several who are interested in him. This includes the Miami Heat, who need a point guard. They have a small forward, a shooting guard, and a power forward, as we all know, in the big three, and a couple of centers to rotate, but no real point guard to bring that offense together. So looks like he'd be a good fit there, but the Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics are also looking into getting him. So a couple of scores from around the association tonight. The Kings are leading the Clippers with 28 seconds left to go. That game will wrap up by the time that this is up, but right now Kings are leading the Clippers 100-97. The Suns beat the Nets 104-103 in overtime. Deron Williams playing in one of his first games as a New Jersey Net. The Bulls take care of the Wizards 105-77. The Nuggets beat the Hawks 100-90, and the Celtics topped the Jazz 107-102. And another note that I was talking about earlier, Tony Parker has a calf injury for the San Antonio Spurs, could be out 2 to 4 weeks. Now, this is not doomed the San Antonio Spurs by any stretch of the imagination. They are, after all, the best team in the NBA, or at least the team with the best record. Now, their offense is mainly predicated on Parker distributing the ball, also a very good scorer, but he should be back in time for the Spurs to make their playoff push. So don't panic yet, Spurs fans. He'll be back in about 2 to 4 weeks. Just hold your ground until then and hope that Tim Duncan can up his production, and we'll see Manu Ginobili do what he always does as they make a final push. And a side note, the NFL, as we all know, has the collective bargaining agreement expiring at the end of this week. Friday, as a matter of fact, is whenever the collective bargaining agreement would expire, and owners are very eager to come out and say that they are ready for a lockout and ready to lock the players out. Jerry Jones says he will be one of the first people to do it. And according to a report from CNN Money, the NFL, or at least some teams in the NFL, have been predicted that they could survive a, get this, 2-year lockout, a 2-year work stoppage without any players playing, and could still make some revenue and could survive that long on it. So that does not bode well for the players who depend on kind of a check-by-check scenario in order to make it by in their chosen profession. There is a league strategic fund that has a reserve of $900 million that can be used by different teams. So this is a very discouraging report if you are in the players union at the fact that the NFL could survive that long without you. So we will see how the collective bargaining agreement pays out. Well, I apologize for this being a little bit sporadic, but we'll try to make sure that this happens more often. And yet again, another pitch for myself. Tune in to College Crossfire this week, as I will be on again, a back-to-back champion defending my title. Check it out Wednesday night at 9:30, channel 15 on the Dorm Room cable, and channel 29.1 if you have antenna here in Austin. Until then, have a good evening. I'm Garrett Greene, and hook 'em horns.